found it, pal. Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today we are in maybe my favourite place in the world. It's the Disneyland of golf. Welcome to the circus. Welcome to Universal Studios. Welcome to the home of golf. That is the town of St Andrews. We are at the old course. Here we go.
Go. Yeah. There you go, Rob. Wow. I'm thinking about it. The ball's so good.
Wait, rather you were not there, but go down again.
Okay, the hell, man. So the plan today, what we're going to do is the man that we started with, the grandfather of golf, Mr. Tom Morris. He is known as the inventor of modern golf and was the greenkeeper on St Andrews, on the old course, and was the one that standardised all the 18 holes, the golf equipment, etc, etc. At the end of this video, what we're going to do is we're going to end at his gravestone beside St Andrew's Cathedral in the graveyard. And we're going to take a walk around the main sites of St Andrews, including the university, which is the oldest university in the English-speaking world, and certainly the oldest in Scotland, and see major parts of the town as a whole. St Andrews is known as, yes, home of golf, home of the university, but it's also named after our patron saint of Scotland, St Andrew. St Andrew. It's the spiritual home of our country. And what I want to get through in this video is, yes, the sites, but also at the same time, this may be the best town in the world for sports, best town in the world to live in terms of amenities, and at the same time, because it's so popular, how it's actually the 51st state of America.
Follow the coach around like that, then follow it around again, run deep, and that. So just solve it.
So, a little bit of sightseeing for you. We're on the Scores, and we've just got the aquarium just right below us. Further north, the County of Angus. The highest peaks in the distance, the Sidlaw Hills, Auchterhouse Hill, and the city of Dundee is just directly below it. This vast array of trees is known as Tentsmuir Forest and is one of the largest natural increases of land since the Second World War. Naturally created by changes of currents and changes of sand dune systems. So all the land over there has been created, yeah, since the World War, because the River Tay changed its currents. So we've got new stuff, we've got old stuff in a very historic town. On this road, we're currently on the Scores, one of the major hotel runs, B&Bs, but also because of the fancy views, one of the most expensive roads, certainly in St Andrews, but also in the country. St Andrews is the most expensive town in Scotland, but it's because of the infrastructure that we have across the whole town, and the fact, due to the Gulf, it has famous amateur events and obviously famous professional events, which include the Alfred Dunhill Links Championship every year in October, and also the Open Championship, held usually once every 5 years. But St Andrews is more than just the golf. It's actually a very historic place, including fishing, as well as the university as well. So I'm going to show you some of my favourite spots along the way, and any particular tales along with some of the more the ones that you can easily Google search. Might hear some chats as well. Hiya. Okay. Best coffee site in town. Taste Coffee. Always a hot spot for tourists and students. Always get a wee pastry in there, and always get a nice wee flat white in there as well. It's always a good one. Now, one of the more recent openings in what used to be the St Andrews Cinema House, it's now known as the New Picture House. T Squared Social. It's a collaboration between Justin Timberlake and Tiger Woods. In there we can get some golf simulator, some food, and a few other things as well. say in Scotland, Guy, it's windy.
Die unsere Blätter.
Welcome to the University of St Andrews. The gates are. Let's go this way. Yes. Are we done? I find it always funny when people don't look at me because of the camera. Can we go in?
Oh, yes, sir.
Perfect. Well, that was a cool church. Cool chapel, wasn't it? Brothers in Christ. It's the oldest part of the university. University of St Andrews was founded in 1418. Oh, please tell me that. You know what? Let's live Google this. Stand corrected. 1413. As I said, it's the oldest university in Scotland. and was founded by a guy called Bishop Wardlaw. It's funny, we've got family friends on the other side of the world that are also called Wardlaws, and evidently would have been related to the bishop that started it. And one of the reasons it was started here as opposed to Edinburgh was they wanted somewhere that was a little bit quieter, away from the bustling city, somewhere they could get on a boat but relatively quickly, so it would be a place of sort of like solitude, away from the chaos that would be, well, Edinburgh. And thus was founded here. The second oldest university in the country is Glasgow, and the third oldest university is Aberdeen. It's only 100 years later, 150 years later, the late 1500s, did Edinburgh actually get the University of Edinburgh what is done as today. So St Andrews prides itself on being historic, and a lot of the town itself is owned by the university itself, where classes, lectures, tutorials, etc. are all done. But there's these random plaques, well, not random. Jock Hutchison, USPGA champion, Open champion, Seniors Open champion. He was born here on the 6th of June 1884. He defeated Douglas Elder in the final hole of the PGA in Illinois in 1920. The following year he became the first American citizen to win the Open Championship after a playoff with Roger Weathered over the Old Course, St Andrews. What a guy. And I'm recording this the day after the 2026 USPGA Championship has been finished and won by Aaron Rai. Now this guy, commemorative plaque, another famous cafe, the North Point Cafe, where royals, Prince and Princess William, came to university, studied, and they went for their first date in there. Now, one of the things I love about this place is look at the buildings. Like, these are just ordinary little fishing village buildings, sandstone, very unique, very typical of the time. And there's a feeling that St Andrews is still in the past, which is nice. It's like it's planted, it's got its roots in the ending of our times. There's the cathedral. We'll pay a little visit to that later on. I don't know if you can see. It's actually started to rain a bit, so I hope this comes out over quite nice in the edit. Well, we'll end the stream in there. So, the patron saint of our country, St Andrews. Now, every year, St Andrew's Day is always done on the end of November, so the 30th of November. A fun fact, this year, even just yesterday, I found out that the patron saint of the Canaries, and more specifically the Isle of Tenerife, their patron saint is St Andrews, and thus their flag is also the same flag as ours. The only difference is it's slightly darker blue. And our flag, the one for Scotland, is known as the Saltire and is also known as the St Andrew's Cross. If you don't know what our flag looks like, it's a royal blue with a white cross. The only difference is Tenerife's one is a dark blue. Now, St Andrews obviously got his name for that, and it is alleged that there used to be fragments of St Andrews here in the town. Legend has it. And as a friend who's a golf historian in the Arnay Golf Museum, his favourite phrase about the home of golf is allegedly. So I'm going to use the same word, allegedly, here, which can't be proven. The fact that we don't know if the actual remains of Andrew ever made it out of the country, but there was myth that Andrew's bones, or certainly parts of his bones, came to the country, and that's where we got the patron saint. That's why we got St Andrews. That's why the town is known as St Andrews. Today, it's a town that is very much a tourist town because of that, because of the golf, because of the university, and also because of the sites. There's lots of like quaint festivals. There used to be very quaint books, so there was like the poetry festival. The International Poetry Festival happens every year in St Andrews, amongst other things. This is what I love about St Andrews. You can just be like wandering down one of the main streets, and then all of a sudden, random little like nook and cranny. The St John Garden, another nook and cranny. Now, when I was growing up, it'd be a staple. Sunday, come for a family day out to St Andrews. We'd usually get some fish and chips or a bacon roll. Now, one of the best places for fish and chips, highly recommend Cromar's classic fish and chips. I would say top 5 within the country. Big shout out to Cromar's. But so if it was a dinner time or an afternoon, we'd get it from there. If it was a lunch, we'll go to the Hut, which I'll show you later on. You'll see lots of students in this place.
It's this big old document Churchill.
Lots of pubs here as well.
Churchill old document.
Here we go. Well, under construction, but welcome to the town square. Lots of beautiful little eateries that have came up. And because of the fact that it's so touristy, you can get all sorts of cuisines round about here as well. lots of foreign languages in St Andrews. No, it's South Street. Holy Trinity Church. Church of Scotland. Brothers in Christ. A notice board you can do. Lovely church in there. It does tons of concerts in there. Come along. St Andrews Town Hall just over there across the road. Yeah, and this is sort of like the main square, so we can sort of get any foods, clothes, etc, etc. Now, one of the things about this place, it very much revolves around the season, the high season, April through to October. Why? Because that's spring and summer, and little bits of autumn. Why? Because of the golf. That was sassy. Because of the golf season. At the moment, the biggest attraction for it is golfers around the world. You would come here for, yes, home of golf, the old course. Sort of a bucket list thing if you're a golfer. Been fortunate enough to play it twice. One on Christmas Day and one in July 2021. But one of the things that has changed recently within the town is the relocation of the high school that was known as Madras College. Madras College certainly is one of the oldest schools in the country, but the building is now under construction. Why? Because the university have bought it over. Why? Because Madras College has now been moved further outside the town, but has historic roots around about what's called Blackfriars Chapel. This is known as Blackfriars Chapel. The last of the Dominicans. Blackcoat Dominican friars worshipped in this chapel when it was part of the church on the north side of the monastery-like complex. Its fine decorated ribbed ceiling hints at its former glory. There will be a covenant of the friars living according to the rule of St. Augustine and engaged continually in the study of the letters. That was Cardinal David Beaton in that photo. So that's one of the major parts of the Blackfriars Chapel. Obviously, due to St Andrew's patron saint, a lot of the history of St Andrews is through the development of Christianity. Scotland, certainly in the 1500s, when by the time of Mary Queen of Scots, before the Union, as I've found out recently, Queen Mary was a Catholic. Elizabeth I at the time didn't like that. It's one of the reasons why she was so argumentative, and one of the reasons why Elizabeth wanted her dead. St Andrews was certainly the spiritual hub or home of the country. Nowadays, yes, there's Church Scotland ones, there's the University Chapel, there's also Catholic churches here, but there is a lot of churches, a lot of spires, and obviously because of the cathedral, which we'll go on to later on, it was very important at its time, and a lot of Christian preachers, a lot of Christian worshippers, priests, whatever word you want to call it, would come to and would make the pilgrimage to St Andrews from East Lothian south, from the south, East Lothian, so North Berwick, would take the boat over from North Berwick to Ely, which is about 15 miles south of here, 15-20, and then make the pilgrimage walk from Ely in a bothy there when they'd sailed over from the night, and would come through the kingdom, certainly the northeast nook, through this gate to St Andrews, and people would come and learn and discuss divinity and theology, etc., etc., about the Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ. So on that sort of standpoint, oh, here we go. Don't know if you can hear the bell ring. That's why it's got such a sort of spiritual hub. Last year, I was living up north in Dornoch and found out about the history way up there, which is in Sutherland. And there would be priests and monks from there would come down to do the divinity and theological practices, and monks would get together in St Andrews, and thus, even though Dornoch is very north, it's very historical. There's been a cathedral there for around about 800 years. That's how golf transported itself up to Dornoch. There's been golf there for over 400 years. Well, it started with the monks and priests of St Andrews portraying the good news of Jesus and portraying the good news of golf. Kurt, I would love for you to tell me how you got through this feeling fine about camera work. Because the amount of people looking at you is so funny. Addison Court, St Andrews, 2-bedroom flat, offers over £525,000. Cheapest chips. And welcome to St Andrews Harbour and the lesser known beach of the East Sands, which was where we're just about to go to. So yeah, this is the main harbour. Currently high tide. Lots of boats here, lots of like local fishing and local sort of crabs and oysters. Don't know if you can get lobsters this far north, but you can certainly see all the nets all banded up at the side there. Creels. This is the hut. Welcome to the hut. It's been soup of the day for the last 25 years. There's Steve. Over the bridge. And don't know if you could see, you can sort of see the main wall of the old town just there, and that's what we've just come through, just over there, the gate. Presume this would have been like the harbour and port, but to get into, do trade and go and see stuff, you would have to go through that what would have been the eastern gate, presumably. God, I hope you can hear all this because this is windy. Casuals playing football. Let's see how windy it is. Boys are just running wild. Here we go. So this is the East Stand. Going to a well-known shop that deals with good little pastries, coffee and sandwiches. It was called the Cheesy Toast Shack, and yeah, we're gonna get something to eat. While we get there, it's a high tide. Don't know if you can see. That's going south. There's a little hut up there. That is Fairmont St Andrews, which is about a couple of miles down. And then we've even got St Andrews Caravan Park just there. South, the next town that you get to is a place called King's Barnes. And then the next one is Crail. And Crail is the furthest east in the Kingdom of Fife. And the whole area known as the Northeast Nook is very historic. Primarily that started with fishing, farming, somebody working hard right here, and Christianity. And these branched out from this town. Oh yeah. So much suspicion.
I'm glad I'm talking to you.
I'm so sorry, the only size you have left is an extra large.
The Cheesy Toast Shack. It's a vibe.
a raspberry and white chocolate one. And then we also have the Empire Baby Biscuits as well.
The famous Booby biscuits right there, folks. Can I get the middle one here, the white chocolate and raspberry?
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anything else for you?
No, that's it. Perfect.
That is $3.95, please.
Perfect.
You can pay cash or-
Raspberry, white chocolate. Unreal. Here we go, folks. Here, you can actually walk out to that, and the university students always do a parade in their robes to celebrate that they're students and graduates of the University of St Andrews. Amateurs use the ramp for going out on boats, and actually even on New Year's Day they do the New Year's Duke. Much less famous than the Dukes in South Queensferry, and also Broughty Ferry in Dundee. God, this is a good one.
It looks very cool.
Highly recommend the raspberry and white chocolate cookie. Do Booby biscuit in commemoration for breast cancer and support for breast cancer, and they do a ball biscuit for November in awareness of men's testicular cancer. Same shape, funny enough. Different icing and design. It's one of the main rivers that goes through St Andrews, and yeah, ends out in the North Sea. And this is what I feel is the beauty of this place. You've got a historic university as world leading, internationally recognised with international students. So you've got a wealth of intelligence and technology and education, where the whole town, usually like between a third and a half of the actual town itself, is students, is for the university. So it's a major employer as well. You've got the golf, so major international sporting events and major international sporting venues and festivals and culture. There's a Laidlaw Music Centre as part of the Bayer Theatre. So lots of shows done by students, done by also local amateurs, and there's even a connection with the Scottish Chamber Orchestra. They do a residency here for performances and do side-by-sides with university ensembles. You've got the beach, you've got the theatre, you've got the events, and you've got the history, and you've got beautiful parks as well. It literally has every amenity that you could ever want. So that's one of the reasons why the world comes here, and one of the reasons why the world wants to stay here. And that's one of the reasons why all the property prices have went so through the roof. We're going to go up over the scores. Over the scores, past St Andrew's Castle. Then into the cathedral. Might even try and get up the tower. And then finally to Old Tom's grave. I think that'll be a good place to finish. Mind you, I haven't even looked at the golf course yet. I mean, we might go to a pub after. Let's see. Coastal erosion, folks. Coastal erosion. Damages to defences. The magnificent cathedral almost took 150 years to build and was completed in 1318, becoming the largest church in Scotland and the seat of the religious power until the 16th century Reformation. The ruins are spectacular, and a helpful visitor display show some of the fine carved stones. There's also a haunted tower built into the abbey wall. Perhaps you'll see the ghost of the White Lady. So we're here, and we're going to go along that way to the castle. Look at that for a view. It's the edge of the castle right there. Beyond it, the West Sands, the main beach, and then the trees, Tentsmuir that I mentioned earlier. Another day, another graveyard, Sean. Look at this place. Well, these would have been the pillars. Should be the main atrium sort of thing. The rood screen, so-called the rood or crucifix above it, would have been here. In front of it were placed the principal altar or altars that lay folk who worshipped in the cathedral. Would have been right there. Above this point would have been the actual main spire of the building. Choir stalls, piers, the high altar I'm standing on right now. And the main sort of relics or artifacts, and sort of the small chapel. nuts, bro, isn't it? It's funny when you're growing up in this sort of like post-Christian culture. Say, like I've had a few people die in my family and close friends' families. It's a tough thing to experience, but look how many gravestones there are. You always think like graveyards are like solemn places that you don't really go to. The main thing I'm understanding that people like respected the dead. They honoured the dead. And I mean that's through religious practices, and I understand like people probably watching this will have a different view of what God is and if it's real or not, and I understand that. Like, I firmly believe there is a God. I also believe that everybody's definition of God is different, so then nobody can fully understand what, when somebody says God, that is just it's a blanket for something that we can't see, taste, touch, or but we can experience it, and it like that is the closest word in the language that I know that represents a faith that there is a better tomorrow. And certainly in our country, it's been on the belief, on the basis that Jesus Christ died for you and me. Now, I understand that it's hard to believe, I get that. And I struggle to believe that as well. One person that did believe in it was old Tom Morris. That's his son's grave. And here's the main man himself. Tom Morris, born the 16th of June 1821, died the 24th of May 1908. We're almost at the 24th of May, so it's almost his anniversary. Thomas Morris and Agnes Bain, in memory of their beloved son Thomas, second Thomas, etc. This man, certainly in my life prior to finding belief or understanding what belief was and is, this man worked in golf, played golf, and through one thing or another had an understanding and a feeling of what a direction. Where's the St. Rule Tower? It's right here. A direction of what golf was and what it could be, and created that, and a standardization of that, of what we actually play today. And he is known as the father of golf. And certainly one of the things I grew up in, primarily Sundays, were on a golf course, weren't in church. But that direction, rather in the proposed ideal or of perfection, he brought us in the direction of where golf is today. And that is this close feeling, vibe, explanation to what golf is and potentially what God is. There's another tower there, St. Rule. It's actually shut. Devastating. Rest in peace, old Tom. And look, maybe I'm jibber jabbing here. Maybe I'm riffing. I'm going through conflicted feelings and trying to articulate them as best as I can. And no doubt I'll probably fall short from this. In an era of cancellation and blame and putting people's politics above their actual humanity, I don't know. That feeling of closed, unable to speak your mind has plagued me for years. And in a weird way, being somewhere like here, whether you believe it or not, I don't know, it just puts me in a little bit of more easiness, and there's a willingness to actually try and lay it all on the table. Try and dig a little bit deeper to actually what is the truth. There can't be just truth, because then that just means nothing. There has to be a truth. And while I'm trying to dig about here, and well, metaphorically speaking, I'm digging through the graves and trying to understand the people of previous generations of what they believed in, because surely they took us along some way to finding what that is, and I'm thankful for that.